yeah, April.
All right, we're back, and thanks for staying with us. It's still Crossfire with Dakpo and Ishoma. You can watch us on any of our platforms, and you can follow us on our social media platform also. 259 channel on DSTV and UHF 57 channel on our terrestrial platform, and it's still Crossfire with Dakpo and Ishoma. My name is Dakpo Banjo. We have a gentleman who is in the studio with us, and we'll be running the show together. He's no other person but a chartered accountant. He's a social commentator. He's a political analyst, and he loves this country. He speaks with a lot of passion. Let's welcome Alistair Wilkers.
Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you, Dakpo, for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on the show. As a matter of fact, I mean, immediately after the show, I owe you, breakfast.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And
Thanks.
we'll quickly do that.
Please, Bias, tell him thank you.
All right, there's nothing we can do but to just keep trying to pass this information out there, educating Nigerians and sensitizing Nigerians, and just keep talking about our country until we have a country that is good. The Nigeria of our dream eventually emerge.
Exactly.
We cannot just talk about Nigeria enough. Now, let's quickly take some of the stories making headlines and take our thoughts on it. Federal government are still they keep reassuring Nigerians and particularly the parents, friends, and family of of the Chibok girls, the remaining Chibok girls, and really and truly, Professor Yemi Osinbajo is still saying we will do everything to get the girls back. But some time ago, some of the girls that some people had an encounter with said they don't want to come back. I'm beginning to have a feeling that some of these girls probably are fully radicalized, and they just don't want to come back home. What do you think, Alistair?
Well, the issue of the Chibok girls remains a sore point in our national history, and until a substantial number of the girls are released, I mean, we have over 100 now that has so far been returned, and so out of 219, so we still have quite a number out there. Until a substantial number, maybe if we get to 150, 160, then we can say, fine, we have done something.
Are we considering collateral damage then?
Well,
hoping, I mean, just thinking
we know that they are not all could not still be alive as we speak. And like you said, it may not have been radicalized, it may have been made comfortable. Most of them might have been made comfortable because we understand that they are married to people. Yes. So it depends on the kind of life you're getting. Like those who do not want to come back. It may not just be because you are radicalized and you want to go and kill somebody or you want to go and commit suicide or something, but it may be because maybe you are given to a comfortable man that you are used, that you get comfortable with.
No, but considering the fact that they are constantly in war points, knowing fully well that the Nigerian army and the entire, the Nigerian force are always on everyday basis fighting against
as time goes on, there is this. There may be, because these Chibok girls, they are a group of people that even the so-called Boko Haram terrorists are protecting very well. They might have had their challenges initially when it happens, not being able to, like some of the girls say they run from place to place. When bomb dropped, some of them were killed, one or two of them were killed. Some escaped.
But remember also there was a time that the news came in that some were married off to persons in charge.
Exactly. So what I'm saying, as time goes on, they will have been able, because where they are keeping them will have been a somewhat secured environment. Okay. Not as in comfortable as in their homes, but maybe a secured environment whereby they can have protective custody over them as not to get those harm, because they are also using them as a bargaining chip with the government.
Like a bait.
Yes, they are a bait. So when you have a bait, you protect your bait to a large extent. And then, like some of them were married out. Because I remember the ones that some came with baby. I remember the ones that came with that was seen, and he was crying that he wants to go back to the husband. So there are a couple of issues. But for me, what will make me much comfortable and happier is the fact that if we can get more releases. We've had over 100 now. If we can get up to 150, 160, we can say, fine, we can put a close to that chapter and see how we can forge ahead. Because I really understand the pains of the parents, especially those whose children are not back and seeing other children back. You can know the double jeopardy that they are facing. So it's instructive that the president is talking in this. That means he's laying the front burner. It's a delicate process. Anybody that thinks that wants to beef this government and thinks, oh, it is something they can do with a flip of hand must be fooling himself.
So you are simply saying this government is done enough, or they are doing as much as they should do?
As much as they should do.
And you
they
think
can
the pace
do
is
better.
fast?
You see,
knowing that we're talking about human life here.
It depends now on the circumstances. If it is if maybe you've seen this person and the person is sick and you are trying to get the person well, and then you can now do all that within your power. You are dealing with a terrorist group that are faceless, you don't know where they are. You're only having a go-between. You can't even have a face-to-face dialogue. So it's quite a delicate situation. Remember that the American hostage in Iran, when the Iranian embassy in 1979, it took 449 days. Yeah. And America, it took even when Jimmy Carter sent Marine commandos to go and rescue them, it was a failed mission, and some of them were killed. It was only when Ronald Reagan came to power that Iran released those people as a goodwill gesture. So it's a delicate process. Anywhere you have terrorist situation like this, and moreover, this Boko Haram has international affiliation with ISIS and other. So they have perfected the act of negotiation and all whatnot. And so it is not just an easy thing. Go in there, pick them out. You must be sure of the collateral damage, like you just pointed out. You don't go in a, even if you see where they are today, you cannot send in troops to go and rescue them because your troop may not be as proficient as some other countries. If America see where they are today, and they have the capacity, they can just go and pick them all up, one, and move.
Yeah, well, we're considering the terrain here because we know we have a fantastic Nigerian army. One of the best in Africa.
You have a good Nigerian army, but not fantastic. I won't say fantastic. In terms of what we are facing.
Yeah. You think it would have been handled differently if this were to be in the United States?
Of course, certainly. If it's in Britain, the United States, if it's in Japan, it could have been much more different. It's been much more different because as at the time it happened, 24 hours after it happened, you will have had a lot of successes. 24 hours. And so after 24 hours, a lot of things will have happened. And remember what happened in this case. The government not even accept that it happened until after 19 days before the president even start talking about it. That's true. Then they now politicize it. Oh, it's APC. Oh, it's PDP. Oh, it's this and that. So rather than addressing that, look, let's get these people out before we begin to blame who is not responsible. But we lost that momentum. And even Obasanjo just said you can't get these girls back. But to God be the glory, Obasanjo said, when you look at it, he said you can't get them back. Or you can't get them back in one piece. But thank God that the government came, and even if they have paid ransom, I don't know. These are not disclosed.
You seems to be
getting about 100 and something girls.
106.
Girls out of captivity.
You sound to be very pleased with this government.
Not pleased.
And,
no, not totally pleased because I feel very bad that one girl child should be in, because I mean certainly those that are virgins will no longer be certainly in these 3 years. Or they're about running.
Many of them probably
will have sex slaves. They will have been pregnant, or them have had kids, and all. So their conditions have totally changed. So it's for me, it's mentally traumatic. But that we are able to make. If we have made this success, 2014, 2015,
or this kind of efforts back then
was more than a year. It happened, and not even one success was achieved. Not one was rescued. So if this government has been able to, in 2 years, gotten out 106 plus the ones that escape and all whatnot, I think we should just give a little bit of a pat on the back and say, please, Yemi Osinbajo and Muhammadu Buhari, please do more within your capacity to get more out.
Okay, we use this opportunity to reach out to all the girl childs out there, and that includes Ishama Againe and Vivian Kwemze
and one girl child.
Okay, and to your daughter.
A wonderful girl child.
Yeah, and to your daughter too.
The best in the world.
So today we're marking the International Day of the Girl Child, and to a very large extent we reach out to all the girl children out there, and we maybe our prayer is that there will not be you will not be maltreated any longer.
Amen.
And that the society that you belong in will take care of you and protect you and give you what you deserve. Be educated and be liberated in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit, and live in a society where you're respected and honored.
Dako, please.
Yeah.
Same way you're praying also.
Yeah.
I hope, like the Bible says, the Christian Bible says, prayer without works is dead. So I also hope the government will be ready also to ensure that the girl child, every girl child in Nigeria, within the territory of Nigeria, gets access to good qualitative education. So far, that's far from reality.
And the girl child in Nigeria should be able to have his pride and know that she first is a human being, and you do not necessarily need a man to live your life.
Of course.
Okay.
Very true.
All right. Let's quickly move on here. All right. Now we have crocodile dancing, smiling, and then we have python dancing. And Hammy launched, another operation in Cross River State, and this is like the second phase of its operation, code named Crocodile Smile. And a soldier friend of mine, was trying to break down how they come about some of these codes. And, he explained, he said, when crocodile is smiling, it simply means crocodile is looking at a target in front and is smiling that, okay, finally I have a target.
Okay.
Because when you don't have anything, there is no smile. Okay. So he looked from afar and it's like, okay, I'm going to calculate how I can get this target. Okay. And all of that. So crocodile smiles when he's looking at the target ahead of it, and then is planning to get it. Okay. Then python, they only dance when they have swallowed something. So in the process of trying to masticate and swallow properly, that's when python dance. So, when he explained that to me, I said, like, for real, this is very interesting. So when crocodile is smiling, they are saying that, don't make trouble, we are on ground. If you make trouble, the smile will disappear.
Okay.
And we are already saying that there is already trouble here. So python only dance in a place where there's already trouble. Yes. And crocodiles smile in a place where they're not expecting trouble, to start. So Major General Adamu Abubakar is saying that, the Southeast is characterized with a lot of militancy, kidnappings, armed robbery, cultism, and the likes of it. And this is the reason why they are doing crocodile smile. They are just simply saying, if you are engaged in any of all of these activities, stay away. Yes. Do you think the Nigerian police should not have been empowered more to carry out their civic responsibility instead of actually unleashing, the might of the military, in this region? What do you think?
The problem of the police started after the first military coup.
Okay.
That's when the degradation of the police started. Because I remember, story had it, I wasn't there, I wasn't born then, and I didn't know what happened. I was not in their mind. But people are saying that at the time that the late Prime Minister, Tafawa Balewa, was given a hint of the impending military coup, he was so confident that the police can quell it. So nothing much was done because he was so confident that the police then can quell the military coup, whatever it, I don't know how the army raises their head. That was how efficient and the police was in the 60s. Post-independent. But after that, the military took over and they begin to degrade the police. That degradation has not ended. As a matter of fact, this is 2008-17, so 18 years down the line during civilian administration, that it didn't have taken forever for us to have reinforced our police if the civilians have known what they are really out to do. And then know fully well that internal security is key and critical. And that should be one of the major campaign points. And I think this government took that seriously, security. And internal security is because these days, how many people are fighting wars? What are the standard aggression that we have? All our aggression today has been internal, even the Boko Haram is internal.
Yeah, but don't you think the Nigerian police need to be overwhelmed first?
The Nigerian police, for now, do not possess the capacity. And it's rather sad and unfortunate. By themselves, by their own conduct of their own personality, they have sold it. And that is the most shameful part of it. And I feel very, very bad as a Nigerian. That the Nigerian police has sold their birthright. Not even up to a pot of porridge, maybe a spoon. Because you see that today, what the police talks about, the average policeman on the street is talking about the survivor. Yeah. Rather than perfecting seeing himself as an integral part of a society that he has a responsibility over. We've had those stories that they are not well paid, I'm not sure you are well paid. I'm sure if you go abroad, you'll be paid far better than what you are paid here. I'm not sure you're getting the best. I can't even say of my. So they are not well paid, their welfare is not taken care of, this and that and this. But as a person, as an institution, what have you done to project and promote your personality so that people will see it and respect it. So nobody respects the police.
But there's another angle to
So
this now.
if you look at the, I'm coming, if you look at the whole thing, so the police has, while institutions are degrading the police, they are also degrading themselves to the point that you're no longer being respected. An area boy does not respect the policeman, unlike before.
They work together.
That's what I said. They've sold their rights. You see a policeman on the road, he's thinking of, you see a policeman on Okada man, they are arguing, oh guy, I've given you now, I've not given you now. A police officer that is wearing the crest and the badge of that has a national character. So that is where we have gotten to. So why wouldn't the military come in?
But there's another angle now. We have found ourselves in this negative situation.
Yes.
Not much has been done to correct it. But so far, for how long will the Nigerian army continue? Let me use the word of the average Nigerian out there. Harass citizens, because for a lot of persons, they feel the presence of these troops in their community affects their psychology. It affects, free movement for their business, and a lot whole other things. Now, look at the issue now. The army, they want to curb the effects of militancy, kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, and other forms of illegality. And if you trace this carefully, kidnapping only thrives where you have individuals who probably for political reasons or one or the other. Cultists also have sponsors. But so far we have not seen the army use their intelligence gathering to also fish out their sponsors, to fish out the ultimate beneficiaries, those who are making this crime escalate in those communities.
I agree with you.
So it's like we're not even doing as much to address the issue.
There are two angles to it. The police possesses capacity to investigate. Army don't have it.
Exactly.
No, they do.
The police.
They do. The Nigerian intelligence, they do.
I'm coming.
No,
they have investigative units.
There's a different angle.
I will disagree because I know about the operations of the Nigerian army.
There's a DMI, Director of Military Intelligence. It is different from investigating crimes. The army do not have forensics. They do not have what I call that systematic touch to investigations that the police should have. That the police have. Very, very sure. Now, army has intelligence. There is crisis in this area. Army can go there, quell it. They don't stay for long.
Don't you think they also carry out intelligence and investigation?
Intelligence is different. It's intelligence.
If it is intelligence gathering,
they can gather intelligence. But this day-to-day, for instance, if there's a murder now, there's a murder, the army can just go catch the culprit. If you take that culprit to a regular court, you might not get conviction.
No, sorry, can I just ask this question?
Yes. So but if a police officer investigate that crime, which is their capacity, they can get the nitty-gritty that can stand a army can only take
because
it to military court.
They are more concerned.
Army can only take a military court. We've called the man, and military court has their own rules of engagement.
No, they also have lawyers.
The activities
they have,
but their own and civil courts are not the same.
Let's ask this question.
Yes,
let's just draw this analogy. There is a murder of a high-ranking or a low-rank, or let's just say a military officer or a military man. Yes. How do you think they carry out investigations?
They will catch the person because they work on intelligence.
How do you think?
No, they also investigate. They work on intelligence. They will catch the person. Okay, they will catch you, so long as it affects them. But if you take that man to a regular court, you might not get conviction because you have not. Because the army do not have that skills of detailed. Because there are some facets that you must bring in.
Maybe they do have, but
not as the police.
Not
as the police. The police has that responsibility of investigating issues, systems. They could have the intelligence. They could have the I don't have no idea, but they have the manpower and everything to invade the place.
Yes,
but
are we not getting it mixed up here? The function or the major assignment or responsibility of the police is to protect the territorial integrity of a nation.
Yes.
Why the Nigerian police actually go into the immediate environment, the nitty-gritties. They deal directly with people.
Now you see, the police is supposed to be empowered to the point that they could rub shoulder with shoulder with the army, with the military, any class of the military, in terms of how they operate, in terms of, look at in the UK and other places, it is the police that fights crimes and everything.
Yes.
Because they are empowered, they have the capacity, they have the training, they have the weaponry, they have everything. Police has armored tanks that they deploy.
I think it's a time of war that you should expect the Nigerian police to come out and the Nigerian army to say,
come out and say, but you know, like this Boko Haram now, you know, the police was handling until it gets out of hand.
Yes.
But you see, in the issue of what happens within the Niger Delta region or whatnot, there is a clear case of armed conflict. There was a clear case of armed conflict in the Niger Delta. There was a time when in the Niger Delta was so militarized that, was so invaded, the arms and ammunition that was in that environment was overwhelming. In that case, you don't expect the police. Because they don't even have, as of today, they don't even have other capacity. If it is maybe police in the US, they might have the capacity, and then when it becomes overbearing, then they call it the Marine, they call it the Army.
Okay, so are we establishing the fact that the Nigerian police are completely overwhelmed by the
current activities?
Yes, current activities in the Southeast.
I think they are. I don't think they have possessed that capacity to deal with those issues.
Okay.
Because remember, when
you support that federal government deploy.
When the issue of kidnapping in Niger State,
you support that federal government is in that particular region, launching these operations.
Yes.
Crocodile Smile.
They have launched it
dance.
in other areas. They've launched the operation Zaki or something in the northwest. In the northeast, they have operations. So, and moreover, I think for me to effectively use our army too, because we're not fighting war. And so if you leave them in the barrack, they are redundant. So it's also good to use them. And one thing I know for sure is, if the army is in the community, so long as you are not a troublemaker, you don't have anything to fear.
You don't have anything to fear.
Yes, it's
only the guilties that should be afraid.
They can mount a road point now. They can catch 20 of you and they will profile you there immediately.
For a very long time, they've been in Ojota with a hammer time.
Yes, and they can profile you immediately, and then know who is who. But if the police comes in a place, the way our police operate, maybe there's a crime now. The criminal has gone. Police will now come. They will now come after 2 hours, and then pack every. So long as you're not wearing, you are wearing a Tata shirt, and so they just pack maybe a shoe cobbler going about with your little, or they will just pack everybody to their van.
That's
you now
nice.
Start building yourself before
That's
you know
nice.
it. So
right.
that is how. So the army, they go in. Let us cooperate. See, finally, let us cooperate with the army.
Okay.
It is not to intimidate. It is to scare away troublemakers. We must keep this country united. After all, when kidnapping was rife in Abia, it was army that went to kill Osisi Kanko. We all held them.
Okay.
So if they have done good in those areas and saved the Abia people from the activity of those deadly, what do you call them, kidnapping gang of those years, I think it's also time that we look at it. If you're not a troublemaker, don't be afraid. The crocodile will already smile.
Okay,
when
and the python will dance.
The python will dance when there's something to eat.
All right, we quickly go on a short break. We're still here. It's Crossfire with Dapo Adishoma. We'll be right back after now. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. We're back, and it's Crossfire with Dapo Adishoma, and we have Alistair Wilcox in the studio with us, and we've been discussing about a lot of things. And today on Crossfire is Matters Arising, and so we're taking those stories one after the other and analyze them and push out some vital information and things you need to know to everyone there. So Alistair Wilcox is of the opinion that we should allow crocodile to keep smiling and pythons to keep dancing. Just stay out of trouble and allow the military to do their thingy. If they have a target, they go for it. If they don't, go about your normal business and do what you have to do. We are building up to something. Just stay with us. Now, 5.5 billion naira loan, PDP kicks against it. I'm not even particularly, so interested in the PDP angle to it because everything is apolitical as far as PDP is concerned.
Yes.
They're on the opposition and all of that. But as a chartered accountant, knowing fully well, about the monetary and the fiscal policy of the Buhari-led administration, do you think, monetary-wise, that this country, that this administration is thriving? Do you think that they are trying?
As a chartered accountant, I would say go for loans because it will always help you to cushion your short-term fallbacks. We have been discovered that our infrastructure deficit is there. We have a huge infrastructure deficit gap, very, very wide gap. I was just pointing to you about skin then. Look at our Ahmadu Bello Way. In 2017, is that kind of road that we should be having in those areas? Look at all over the country. Let's even take things like roads. All over the country, we don't have good motorable roads and all. So there's this deep infrastructure gap. Look at our power situation. We keep grappling with power. Now the government said they've gone up to 7,000 megawatts. Even though they've generated, but transmission is still a problem and still a challenge. So, and then look at accessibility of road, bridges and all, they're not there. So we need to develop, and the clock is ticking. We need to catch up with other people. If you have opportunity to take loans, fine. But as a Lester Wilcox, I'm averse to loan. Okay. I'm very, very much adverse to loan, because if you have loan, you are a slave. And anybody can always come on you at every point in time. Moreover, and which the IMF was talking about today, in a country like Nigeria that we have not yet diverted away from the volatile our economic base, which is the oil. Now, whatever loan we are acquiring today, we'll pay back. We'll pay back with both interest and principal. And so we're not depending on sale of oil and all whatnot in order to pay back these loans. So that is where I come as individual, and I will say I am not adverse to loans. Okay, but if we can manage successfully, because as this government has widened the base of income to the economy, tax is doing very well now. And they are still aggressively pursuing tax. Customs is coming up with strategies to block up loopholes and everything. Yeah, exactly. And then the government has also got, the fiscal regime has also helped in terms of bringing together through the TSA and other measures to bring together, to block some of the loopholes. Some, not all, some of the loopholes that we have. So I think what needs to be done really is to see how we can build up these sources domestically, and then be able to cut down the cost of governance. Because for me, cost of governance is too high. National Assembly alone, the cost of running National Assembly alone, it's overwhelming. I'm sure what this run National Assembly alone can be used to run Liberia and Sierra Leone put together. So these are the issues. So if we cut down expenditure and show up our income, we will be able to domestically raise enough, quite some money. So even if we need to borrow, it's what we borrow may not be too much. Okay,
I have a question for you, and I'm beginning to get worried. Yeah. I haven't mentioned a couple of ways and methods and mediums that the government is making a lot of money in recent times. Yes. The TSA has saved a lot of money for government. The tax regime that government is running at the moment seems to be bringing a lot of money to the government coffers. And oil is not as bad as when they took over. Yeah. The price has gone up, higher than when they took over. So to a very large extent, we're making, progress, making some money from oil too. And then the anti-graft war. There are loads of monies that are being recovered, from the fight against corruption and all of that. So to a very large extent, there have been a lot of mediums that government. Let me land on this.
No. Okay. As regards the issues of the monies, I know a lot of persons still talk about that. Yes, the government said they have recovered 2.1 billion, they have recovered XYZ 20 billion, blah blah blah. But people should also understand that those monies are encumbered. There's a legal encumbrance on those monies. Reason being, there are still ongoing court cases. And until there is a final determination on those suits, you can't touch the money. So until you get to the Supreme Court, which could be in the next couple of years, you do not own that money, because whoever it is that lays claim to the money will still have to sue until the Supreme Court. I totally disagree with you. The Supreme Court.
I love the legal angle that you're coming from, but let me say something to you. Let me say something to you, Ishoma.
The federal government will be shooting itself in the foot.
I doubt it. I doubt it. We are talking about monies that have been traced to individuals that they stole it. It is established that this money was stolen.
Let me come in here. Both of you are correct.
Do they still have the right to sue?
Both of you are correct.
They can go ahead and do whatever.
Both of you.
The EFCC have done investigation and they know that these monies were stolen. It is sufficient.
That's you are wrong. It's not sufficient. Both of you are right. Let me just give this background.
Okay.
One, there are some money that are still under a company, like he said.
Yes.
You cannot touch them.
Okay.
Sure.
You can never touch them.
Then all money
because that is where I'm coming. I'm coming.
EFCC has
There are some that the court has given final forfeiture.
Okay.
Yes.
Like that of
the Ikoyi Gate money.
Yes.
has gotten final for future.
Yes.
How much is that money? 500 and something. Is it how much? Is it $1 million?
Yes, it totals to about 40 something. Yeah, about 40 something
billion naira.
Yes.
Good. Let's keep that apart.
Now,
you're talking about 30 billion.
Yes.
You're talking about property. Most of this money is in properties, though.
Yes.
Which you have to dispose to raise cash.
And which the
let
value may depreciate.
let me also tell you, people are talking about you recover so much money. The recurrent expenditure of government in terms of salary, of federal government in terms of salary alone, is about 140 billion every month. Salary alone to federal government workers.
No, I think Kemi Adeosun said it's 700 million.
No.
700 million.
Yes. Even only army is about 5 point something billion. Air Force collects about 3 point something now. It used to be 4 billion.
Okay.
But now it's about 3 point. That is Air Force alone. Army is about 5 point something billion. So you cannot. So the totality of the salaries of federal government and its agencies is about 140. It used to be 160. When they did all the verification and everything, it comes to about 140. You are talking pensioners. I mean, it's about 10 to 20 billion federal government liability on pensioners. Yeah. And then most of this recovery is into the federation account. Let's get something clear. There's a difference between the federation account and account of the federal government.
Of course.
Now, when certain money that is recovered goes to the federation account, all the Zionists money, everything lose because it came from NNPC, goes straight to the federation account. The money that goes to federal government account is those ones that directly that came from federal government coffers.
Taxes.
That came from federal government coffers. Now, when money goes to the federation account, it is shared between the state, federal, and local governments. All that has come up now, it still goes to the federation account. So, why the federal government is having their own challenges, the states are also having their own money. And so, but the important thing is that all of us look at the federal government as if that's the only tier that exists. So, the federal government has their own challenges. The states have their own challenges and their own resources. So, I have always advised or say, when we are looking at Buhari and federal government, you don't have pepper. You go to market, pepper is expensive. Oh, Buhari government. You go to market, tomatoes.
No, I
it's
don't
not
want
there.
to go there.
I'm coming. It's part of it. It's part of it.
Okay.
We must also know that there is our state and our local governments that are responsible to certain aspects of development in the economy. So all the agriculture, this, we have federal, state, and local government.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Do you think that the fiscal policy of the Buhari-led administration makes sense? Do you think going forward it's going to improve the laws of Nigeria?
A lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what I need
Because I can tell you a lot of sense.
Okay.
Because like I said, as it is now, the fiscal regime has improved because now government no longer owes salaries.
Who says?
I'm telling federal government, not state.
Oh, okay, federal government.
Federal government. No. Look, as I time the government take over, the former minister was borrowing money to pay salaries. Yeah. Was borrowing money from banks, from other creditors to pay salaries. That has no longer happened. Running costs is no longer happen. At least they have running costs in terms of
the president spent over 100 days in a hospital in the United Kingdom. Who paid for it?
I said borrowing money for running costs.
Yeah, operational cost is still expensive because you calculate it.
I am telling you now. Oh, look, that is a one-off thing. What the president spends. If you know what they spend in training, in ministries and parastatals, the wife of the president just shouted about Aso Rock Clinic.
We are coming back to that.
Yes. So if you know what happens,
Mr. Lester.
That I'm coming, Ishama. Before TSA, if you know what happens between collecting agencies, we were hearing that JAMB was only remitting 3 million. Now they remitted 8 billion. I'm not sure the president spent up to 8 billion throughout his stay in London. So he discovered that we are graduate. And look, this is just 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. I will just give an analogy. If you want to build out this building, I can come down in one go. Yeah. In one go. But if you want to put this building back, it takes time. I'm not saying that we must wait in perpetuity.
You know, you're a very strong advocate of this administration, Mr. Alex.
Not just Alex. If any administration has shown this capacity in terms of streamlining our public expenditure, you cannot eliminate corruption in one day. In terms of cutting out areas or blocking loopholes. I used to say it. Go to Unilag when they were doing before TSA. After every post UTME, they buy new, they build new houses, VCs and all. They build new, they buy new cars. People share money, and they're happy. And that was why they forced the Minister of Education, that woman, to approve post UTME. If from 1,000 naira they got to some people at school are doing 5,000. Before this one came and stopped it. JAM will conduct, people will, so these are the indisciplines that were in the system. It will take some time.
But we have a major issue, Mr. Lester.
It will take some time. And this time it will take is, let us all, we cannot all anyway, but let us begin to see how we can look at the positives.
Mr. Lester, like the previous administrations in Nigeria, which we have all branded and termed corrupt, and I said this during the last administration, and I will say it again. The last administration had a major shortfall, which was they did not have the capacity to monitor projects, monitor the disbursement of funds if they were utilized for the specific...
I disagree with you.
Please?
Okay, go ahead.
They did not monitor the disbursement to ensure that the monies that were disbursed were utilized effectively for the purpose. Now, it seems
how do you know that? Can you substantiate it? Can you substantiate
it seems that is also happening right now.
Yes.
Looking also at the case and the revelations made by the First Lady about not even having syringe in the Asura clinic and in the budget. How much was that? About 3.8 billion. So think about 3.8 billion thereabout, 2016, 2017, and no syringe.
So the issue is go and start a pharmaceutical. They can start a pharmaceutical company.
So the issue is, if you're turning in all these monies, where does it go to? Whose private pocket does it end? And now you're telling me, please approve 5.5 billion naira. What is the assurance that Nigerians have that those monies will be used?
I agree with you completely. You see, that is where, that is some of the low points that me personally, like you've always said, I am a dogged believer and defender of President Muhammadu Buhari. And I will not, and I don't intend to stop anytime soon.
Okay.
Because I see that this is the first time that somebody who desired this job and went for it and got it. So I owe him a responsibility. I campaigned for him personally. I'm not a member of the APC. I don't have a card. But because of his personality, and I will keep doing that. No matter the criticism, no matter I received threat message, somebody called me threatening my life and his family life, all some time ago. That is the headache. But I'll keep doing that. Why? Because I know that I also believe that changes take time. Now, Muhammadu Buhari is not the one that's going to award the contracts I'll supervise. So those that he has appointed, and that's my problem with what's happening between Ibe Kachuku and Baru in this NPC. Those that he has appointed to help him in this war. The unfortunate thing is that those that believe in this man are not and
they are taking advantage of his docility.
Those that believed in this man
simply
are not around him.
They are simply taking advantage of the president's docility.
Everybody is
I'm not saying
everyone around him is just after what they want to get.
Don't support him. I'm not saying
very few
don't support him, but I'm simply saying
even if
that his docility is being taken advantage of.
Which I don't agree, but even if it's docile,
yes,
if you believe in him, you will not destroy his legacy.
Oh, okay.
If you believe in him,
it's actually Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
No. If you share his vision and ideology, which many people do. The important thing is that, and when the wife cried out.
Yes, because the president,
people who are supposed to be around this man,
to
help him, to stand by him,
because the president orchestrated his own fall. He's orchestrating his own fall. He's orchestrating his own fall. He selected those people. Don't forget, nobody chose those people for him. He selected and appointed them
and trusted them.
Exactly. So
trusted them.
Who do you put that blame on? Who do you put that blame on?
I'm not putting on Nigerians.
Exactly.
And I'm calling on those people that had the opportunity that others do not have. Those who believed in him, and he called them to come and help him in this rebuild of a Nigeria. And those who believe in him, and they are not. It is time for them to wake up.
Okay,
and know that this is a man that has called you and given you a responsibility. Therefore, you must live up to that responsibility.
You want to blame Jesus for Judas?
No. I'm not blaming Judas. I'm blaming Judas for being a bad, out of the entire people that were with Jesus Christ. You called you, and then you now come and betray him. I blame Judas for it. Therefore, I'm blaming those people who have not keyed into his vision, who have continued to do it as business as usual, who have continued to see Nigeria as an enterprise where you milk and milk and milk and enrich yourself, you will go down like other people.
Now, after discovering that those people are sycophants, and they are pulling him down, and they are staining and tainting his integrity, what does it take the president to reevaluate?
It takes a lot to reevaluate.
To fire somebody?
It takes a lot to reevaluate because you cannot rock the boat.
He has the power to fire and to hire. The president has the power to fire and to hire.
If you do anything under pressure,
which pressure?
Look at what happened. Obasanjo came in. No,
look at what happened. Babashir up till now, his case is like it's just there. They gave him the report. What has he done? Came in. Everyone was shouting. Why should Obasanjo sell Port Harcourt Refinery to Dangote? The first thing he did was to cancel that thing. Look at Port Harcourt Refinery. It's still like that. The president should be blamed for this. You know a new one. So if you have taken time, if you have taken time to look at issues, the acting president submitted. Yes, they are supposed to be fired by now.
On suspension.
They are supposed to have been fired by now.
They are not earning salary. They do not have access to it.
It does not matter.
So they are suspension.
Oh, what suspension?
You can be on suspension for
fire them. They are thieves.
They are not working.
They have allegations against them
that
have been proved.
But they are not working.
They have proof. Proof.
Gentlemen,
have you seen the report? Have you seen the report?
Money was disbursed to them and it was not used.
Have you seen the report?
Why is the president sitting on the report? Why is the president sitting on the report?
If the vice president has cleared them, we've not seen the report. So why don't we wait?
So
let the report come out.
How long will it take the president to read through the report?
You can
since he came back.
Can we reduce talking over each other? Can we reduce talking over each other? But there is something here, and I need to ask because when President Muhammadu Buhari was sworn into office, a lot of people spoke. Oh, the president is a man of integrity. He has so much capacity to put Nigeria on the right track. His body language is enough. Now, a question to you, Mr. Lester: if President Muhammadu Buhari has been frequent, or if he was frequenting the Aso Rock Medical Clinic, do you think that clinic will be in the state it is? If all our doctors, if all our governors, if all their wives, their families, if the commissioners, each and every agency of government
defend the president.
patronizes the respective hospitals, federal hospitals in their state.
Imagine if he was admitted there one day before they transferred him to London. We did not know the appalling state of the clinic in Aso Rock.
I agree with you.
2 minutes to answer.
I thought you were going to defend that. I thought you were going to defend that.
So why are you defending President Muhammadu Buhari?
That's also the mark of openness for the wife. That clinic will have been there. I mean, the syringe didn't disappear.
They tried to shut her down.
No, it didn't disappear in 2 years.
I'm sure
it was there when Madam Patient
there was a budget. There was a budget.
There
was a budget in 2016. There was a budget in 2017.
Did you say you are sure?
Are you saying that all of them, all the syringes disappeared in 2 years?
I wouldn't know.
Or all the X-ray machines disappeared in 2 years?
I would not know. That is a question for you. Don't ask me.
So if somebody... The woman could have gone there and defend and covered everything. After all, it's Aso Rock Clinic, Nigerians. I mean, it's for them.
Yes.
And covered everything. But he came and said, no! So we should commend this government and these people that they are transparent.
Why should I commend the government?
That they are transparent.
The office of the First Lady is not recognized in the Nigerian Constitution.
It is now
so as far as I am concerned, she was speaking.
She now raised
I am sorry
to the public. The government first did that.
I am sorry to say, Mr. Lester, please, we have people watching us. Let us also be truthful and educated.
I'm being truthful, yeah.
If the office of the wife of the president is not recognized in law and in the Constitution, we can say that she was speaking in her capacity as a Nigerian,
as a wife of the president,
and not an agent,
as a wife of the president,
who went to the clinic
of
Nigeria.
Who is the wife of the president?
Who went to the clinic?
So the issue
by herself and discovered what was wrong.
Yes,
and she cried out to the world.
Yes,
Mr. Lester.
Others could have seen it and keep quiet. The wife of the vice president didn't shout. The wife of the chief of staff did not shout. The wife of the secretary of the government did not shout. But the wife, and they are all supposed to be using that hospital.
No.
Yes.
But they did not.
Okay.
So this woman went there and saw the sorry state. And this is people that have integrity. These are people that has openness. These are people that do not cover wrong. Okay. So if the first family can see what is wrong in their own environment and raise it to the public, I think I owe them a commendation.
You owe her, not the federal government.
I owe the family. I owe the first family a commendation. Because the president has not
used
maybe he didn't go there.
facility.
He has not gone there because he is been going abroad.
He is our
His
man.
doctor.
That's the man.
Now,
He
let me
may
ask
not even
you.
go there.
That is the man
See,
that
the
I
president
know.
may not even visit
You
our
will see
hospital.
attempt to shut her down now. That see.
The president
You
may
are
not
giving
visit our
Nigerians
hospital.
now room
I don't know
to
about
talk
that.
again
Dapo.
now about
Dapo, I don't know about that.
administration.
But there is, but look,
yes,
but think
now.
about it now. If as at when the president knew that he was sick and he had that ailment,
Yeah.
and he instructed
He had a
and
doctor.
said in 2016, and he said, look, I will be treated here. Whatever equipment it is, if it has not been factored into the budget, make provisions for it, but I will be treated in Nigeria.
Yes.
Do you think that's the hospital, the clinic will have been at that state?
And
But
no,
because the
I don't
president
know.
had the option
I've not been
to
there.
travel
Now, go and
outside
see
of the
that place.
country.
What the woman wasn't complaining. He said,
Come on.
you are building structures. They are rebuilding that clinic.
Okay.
He said, you are
That's good.
rebuilding structures.
Okay.
And there is no no facility.
All right.
Who will use it? With the structure? Here
Okay,
people?
no problem.
No,
No
the structure will
problem.
not.
No.
So I think they have tried.
Thank you.
Let us take it from there.
They have
and
tried
make
by
sure that
building,
things
by
move.
Thank you
building a
yes, now,
structure.
thank you very much for
That is
your
of no
thought.
use.
We'll take it on from here. Tomorrow it's still Crossfire with Dapo and Ishoma. Join us the same time and the same station. God bless Nigeria.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.